This is the new BMW i5 Touring, and today we're going to do a little bit of touring of our own to check out its range and efficiency in a real-world motorway test. Our starting point is here at Junction 14 Mayfield, just off the M7 in County Kildare. And our destination is the V in County Tipperary. So come with us on the journey as we put the i5 Touring to a real motorway test. I'm Caroline and this is the Carzone YouTube channel. If you're looking for a new or used car, head over to carzone.ie and you'll find lots of great cars for sale there. Please give this video a like and please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. They say it's a long way to Tipperary, but this journey shouldn't be a problem for the i5 Touring. So we have a full battery now and it's saying 448 kilometres. The journey down is about 140 kilometres southwest. So that's well within the range of the i5 Touring, but it's about an hour and a half's drive. So that's a good stretch to test out the consumption and efficiency of the i5 Touring, because cars like the 5 Series, the 520D for instance, were made for the motorway, long distance cruising. So the i5 Touring really needs to be able to do that well also. So we're not going to drive with any compromises. We're going to set the cruise control to 120 kilometers per hour. I'm going to use the heated seats as much as I want, the climate control. We're fully charged, so let's hit the road. These big German premium cars were made for this sort of motorway driving, so it is an opportunity to enjoy the i5 Touring's comfort and refinement levels. So this is an M Sport model. It is on lower, stiffer suspension, but the Touring model gets air suspension at the rear, so it is a very comfortable driving experience. It just glides across the tarmac. Refinement levels are good as well. It's well insulated from the outside world. Touch of road noise from those 20-inch alloy wheels on this model, but nothing that would put me off the car either. This is the eDrive 40, so it has 340 horsepower. There's up to 430 newton meters of torque if I press this boost paddle from behind the steering wheel, and 0 to 100 is 6.1 seconds. So there's loads of power in this car. Certainly it has lots of oomph in it. There are a few different driving modes, including a sport mode, but I'm going to save that till we get to the V, because I think there's a few famous hairpin bends down there, so we can enjoy some more dynamic driving and put the i5 Touring really to the test on those roads. The interior fit and finish is lovely. You've got full digital driver display in front of you, it's very clear, and then the infotainment screen here in the centre. There's the iDrive controller down here on the centre console. This also responds to gesture control and voice control, which can actually be really handy. This has the Comfort Plus pack, so it has a heated steering wheel, and it also has heated and ventilated front seats and heated seats in the rear. So yes, I am very comfortable here behind the wheel of the i5 Touring right now. It also has adaptive cruise control, so I've set it to 120 kilometers per hour, the speed limit, and we're cruising nicely. It keeps me a safe distance from the car in front, and also when I go to overtake or pull back into the lane there on the left, I press the indicator to the left and it gently moves the steering wheel. It does all the checks. It checks that there's nothing in my blind spot, that there's space for me to move in, and then it just gently moves the steering wheel with my hands on it, of course. So it just makes motorway driving that little bit, I suppose, more comfortable and relaxed as well. I'm using the BMW navigation system, and it gives you an indication of what battery percentage you'll have when you get to your destination, which is very handy. So it's telling me I'll have about 60% battery when I get there. It also will project the directions in front of you on the head-up display, and you can have it here in the digital driver display as well. We're about 96 kilometers now into our journey, so it's a good stretch to really let the car settle down. And my average consumption is about 22.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So predictably, it's motorway driving. Your consumption is going to be a little bit more than if you were driving around town, of course, or just driving at 80 kilometers per hour along regional roads or something like that. So it's predictably a bit on the heavy side right now, but if I'll have 6% battery when I get to my destination, then I'm not too worried at all. We came off the motorway at Cahir, and the roads have gotten tighter and twistier, so a great opportunity to test the dynamic driving ability of the i5 Touring. BMW, of course, is famous for building great drivers' cars. Now, the V is a route through the Knockmealdown Mountains between Watford and Tipperary. And it's named after a famous hairpin bend. So the i5 Touring, it grips the tarmac very nicely. This is a rear wheel drive car, of course. You've got all that power from the EV powertrain as well. I have it popped into sport mode there, so it just feels a little bit livelier as you come out of corners. There's loads of grip. It's so secure and stable. Steering is on the light side, I would say, but it's very precise and in control all the same. Now, it does corner well, but it is a heavy car, and you certainly are aware of the weight of the car in fast cornering. So maybe it is more of a car for touring in than for tearing around the place, but all the same, it's very secure and solid on the road, and you have all that power and torque from that EV powertrain. So we made it to the V, and the famous hairpin bend is just down there. Now, in typical Irish fashion, it's absolutely bucketing it down, but the show must go on. So we're going to use this opportunity to take a quick look around the new i5 Touring and check out its practicality. This is the M Sport Pro, finished in black sapphire. Now, a standard M Sport starts for about €95,000 in the Touring. It's got these lovely LED adaptive headlamps and the LED strip around the grille, and BMW calls this their iconic glow. Now, this car has gotten bigger than the previous generation in all directions, and lovely 20-inch alloys added as an extra on this model as well. So what about the boot? Of course, this is the business side of the i5 Touring. This is what it's all about, and it doesn't disappoint. Powered tailgate is standard, 570 litres. Now, that's versus about 490 litres in the i5 Saloon. So yes, it's bigger and more spacious, more practical as well with the wide opening. This is quite low, so you can get things in and out easily as well. There's a small bit of underfloor storage. There's levers to let down the rear seats, and those rear seats split fold 40, 20, 40. There's also a retractable cover. It's also really nicely finished in there as well. So altogether, a really nice premium estate car. The Touring has the advantage of having a little bit more headroom than the saloon, so it just feels a little bit brighter and more open back here. Now there is a large transmission tunnel, but certainly your two outer seat passengers will be very comfortable back here. This one has heated seats in the back as well, which is really nice, and the glass roof added as an option. There's also an armrest here with two cup holders. So altogether, not a bad way to travel at all. So the all-important numbers. When we got here, the battery's at 60%, and that is exactly the battery percentage that the navigation system predicted on the journey. So that's great. The total distance was 141.7 kilometres, and the average consumption for the trip was 22.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. Now the last 20 kilometres so of that was off the motorway, but if you do the maths on that from the 81.2 kilowatt hour battery, that would indicate a range of 360 kilometres, and that's driving your i5 Touring at motorway speeds. The range left on the car is 230 kilometres, so there is plenty of range there to get me back to junction 14 very comfortably. I know you might say, well, if you're driving a 520D, you've got a range over 1,000 kilometres. You don't need to do any maths when you're behind the wheel, but I think we do have to think about how we actually use our cars. So I will comfortably get back to junction 14 with what's left in this battery, but I want to stop now on the way home, and that's a perfect opportunity to catch a little bit of charge. Now luckily this route, the M8, the M7 is very well serviced. We can stop at Cashel or at Portlaoise, for instance, and get a bit of a charge, but I think it is good to think about how you actually use a car. I hope you found this video useful. Now you know the real world range of a BMW i5 Touring at motorway speeds. You can find more cars for sale over at carzone.ie and lots of BMW i5 Tourings and i5 saloons. Please give this video a like if you found it useful, and please hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.